Hey, what's up you guys, it's Spartan, and today I'll be helping you guys become the best cavalry unit in all of Calradia, with 20 tips and tricks coming from a player that has won 90% of his games in captain mode. So I hope you guys enjoy and find this helpful. Alright, so my first tip for you guys, and one of my most important tips, is that enemy cavalry is your #1 priority as a cavalry unit, since they are able to take out your cav units, your archers, and your non-spear infantry easiest before the match has even started, and just pick them off one by one and also distract your archers from firing upon the enemy. Alright, so your second priority will be to pick off their archers. You can wait until they are distracted with shields, like your own shield infantry, or you can just rush in by yourself. Do not take your cav with you and pick them off one by one. Your third priority will be to charge into spear infantry from behind or from the side while they are engaged with your own infantry, so your infantry can wipe them out while their spears are out. Alright, so my second tip for you guys is going to be circle archers as fast as you can so that they don't pull out melee weapons. So that is how you do not do it. You don't run to the middle of them and get hit from every direction. You go as fast as you can, circling them and hitting people with their bows out rather than their two-handed weapon or their spear. Alright, so tip number 3. When you engage against shield infantry with either horse archers or archers, make sure not to fire at the front of a shield wall. Either surround them with like friendly AI parties, or go over to yourself and turn them. So like if you get close enough to a shield wall, they will turn to face you. So get them to face either you, like behind them, or to the right, so that your archers have a clear line of shot at their backs or their sides. Alright, and that leads to tip number 4. Never engage spears or pikes when on horseback. Never in melee. Always either whittle them down or just wait out and pick off the rest of the units until the end of the game. Never engage spear infantry. Tip number 5. Always keep an eye on your AI brothers and your troop count. Your troop count is in the bottom right. Always make sure that you are not losing troops left and right, because players will just grief your entire army if you do not pay attention to them, or you can get flanked from the side and not know that your entire party just got wiped out. So always keep an eye on them, protect them. As you can see, my fellow Spartan Reggie did not do a very good job of that, and he let his horse archers party get completely wiped by pikes that countered him and flanked him from the side. And also tip number 6, kill all stray horses near enemies that you see. If the enemy gets on a stray horse, make sure to prioritize killing that mounted player to protect your cav units from being killed. And also treat them as a cavalry unit themselves, where they're going to be your first priority no matter what and taking down. Also, it is okay to engage in spear infantry that is engaged with your own infantry or units, but you never engage pike units if they are engaged with other units. It helps get their pikes out at least and makes them easier to kill, but your players would just get wiped. So be cautious with that part. Tip number 8. While not firing upon a unit or not meaning to fire upon a unit, switch your AI to hold fire while engaging in basically melee or just running around, so that they can defend themselves easier and they can fight better. Because if you have them just on skirmish, when you're up close with an enemy, they will just keep their bow out and get wiped. So this is extremely useful. And make sure to surround the archers like I said before, and bring your AI close enough to kind of distract them. This makes it extremely useful for wiping out entire groups of archers with the glaive, or just any cavalry unit.
Whoa! Hold fire!
Tip number 9. Make sure to always drop weapons you do not need or do not use. So if you're using a glaive or a giant two-handed weapon as like an axe unit or something like that, drop your sidearm. There's absolutely no point for it, and it's easier for you to switch to more important weapons such as the bow without having to scroll twice. It's just a little tip, but it's extremely important, and like just for being able to switch back and forth between weapons. Like you don't want to switch between your bow to like a little one-handed mace to try to defend yourself against a melee unit. You want to switch to your giant glaive. Alright, so this right here is one of the best scenarios possible for the cons. So basically tip number 10 is going to be heavy cav is best used in melee against light cav. Do not send your troops to attack. They will use their spears. So basically set them to follow and then surround and blockade their cav and try to basically stop their horses from moving and just wipe their entire cav. Like this is literally 24 units of cavalry that died to mine, which is just insane and makes the game extremely easy, and it was an instant win from there on. And also tip number 11, always finish off a squad before moving on. You don't want them to grab horses and kill your units.
Fire at will! Forward!
Alright, tip number 12, friendly fire exists. I know, it's crazy. You've been playing campaign all this time and you didn't know that friendly fire existed. So this includes friendly fire from yourself as well as projectiles. So if your archers are firing into a blob of people and your infantry shieldmen, your friends, their backs are facing you, hold fire. Do not kill them. Because this is one of the biggest problems with multiplayer, is people don't realize that their archers shoot their own people and can wipe your own people and change the game. And it irritates a lot of the better players too. So make sure to hold fire when your infantry is engaged unless you are on the side of them or from behind them. It's extremely important. Tip number 13. Now this is a pretty simple trick, but I don't think a lot of people know it. You actually can hold Alt while firing a bow to zoom in, and you're going to want to aim for their chest to hit their head. Should make it so you hit them every single time. Alright, so tip number 14 while fighting as Cav. When you see infantry units pull out throwing weapons, treat them as if they were archers and just mow them down with your infantry. They do not fight well, and they will not switch weapons very often if they are in skirmish mode, unless that is a good player and they turn them off of skirmish mode. So make sure to wipe them before they switch back. Alright, tip number 15. If the enemy blobs up with tons of spear infantry or shield infantry, make sure to take as many objectives as possible to split them up so you guys can pick them off one by one. It is extremely hard to fight multiple spear infantry with Cav that are close together.
Forward! Forward!
Tip number 16. Make sure to kill enemy commanders to send following AI or just his AI into disarray and charging. And the more you kill their commander, the more disarray he has and the less he can control them, unless he can switch, like, you know, make them put away their weapons, make them put away their skirmish, switch to melee, stuff like that. It makes them a lot easier to kill. So if you see a captain or if you see a player acting different, kill him. And tip number 17 is going to be swipe at an attacking spearman's arm to kill him. This is dangerous. I didn't try it in this situation right here, but it can be extremely useful for if you're only fighting spearmen. And tip number 18 is going to be bump a shieldman to make him stumble back and then hit him after he stumbles back. That can be used against players or real people, and usually is used for non-spear infantry. So you bump and then you swipe.
Forward!
Alright, so back to my earlier tip. Do not engage pikes in melee. I made the mistake of getting too close and my horse got poked from underneath me and slaughtered. The pikes do like 40-45 piercing damage, are just insane and will destroy your calves so quickly. So that was my mistake right there. I wanted to show you guys. So basically just shoot down their pikes before you go in to finish off whatever spearmen they have or whatever infantry they have. Alright, so tip number 19. Right before you hit spears, jump. And that basically makes it so that you stop your horse after you land instead of right before them and you keep getting poked. It didn't work here because my horse was too low on health, so I ended up dying, but I still flew over them and out of harm's way. So make sure to jump over spears if you're going to hit them. Sometimes they will also miss. Alright, so tip number 20. I find this extremely helpful for non-spear shield infantry when they're in circle formation. But basically, when on horseback, jump over top of the shields and swipe down on their heads. This will always hit and they can never block it. It will not work as well against spears, but it works really well against non-spear heavy infantry. And I find it really, really fun to do and also really, really useful if the whole team's doing it. And I don't see anyone doing that either. Also, just for fun, to help you guys out a little more, I left 5 more tips to the left here. You can pause the video to read them all. They're just basically stuff I couldn't include in this video that might help you guys out even more. And if you guys found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more stuff like this. I hope this makes you guys a better cavalry unit, and this has taught you something to make this game easier for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.